Oh man, today's a blessed day. Any day I think about ground is a blessed day. I'm a believer of Christ. When you wake up in the morning, it's a blessed day. We've been here at SKYLINEZ Barbershop for 7 years now, going on our 8th year. In October, actually next month, will be our 8th year. Man, this is a crazy story. I've been hit in my eye maybe about 6 different times that I can remember. The first incident happened when I was about 3 years old. Me and my brother he had upstairs, I had downstairs, and we were having a fight. I throw pillows upstairs, he throws some downstairs, and then he just ended up going into the restroom and getting the toothpaste bottle, and he threw the toothpaste bottle down the stairs, and not the part where the toothpaste comes out, but the other side, it scratched my cornea. And from that point on, it was just a snowball effect, accident after accident after accident. I can remember my sister being in a fight, and I ended up trying to step between 2 people, her and the girl took out a comb and swung the comb, and then the comb scratched my cornea. So that was the second incident. I remember getting hit in the eye with a pin. A pin scratched my cornea. When we moved to Washington, I was on a tricycle on a big wheel in our yard, and then the neighbor threw a coat hanger from a gate, probably like 6 foot high. So I'm maybe 10 years old. The kid throws a coat hanger over the gate, and it boomerangs like a boomerang, scratched me right in the cornea. This is when I knew something was really wrong at this time. We stayed a block away from a hospital, and I can remember I had white stuff coming down my face, around my eye, and so my mom rushed me to the hospital, and we knew the next day I had to have surgery. This was my second cornea transplant. And then as I got older, I was supposed to, wear eye care for basketball. I was very athletic, very into sports. And so, me, I took the goggles off and, man, go up for a rebound, grab the ball, put it back up, and the kid slaps at the ball. And there goes I have to go back to the doctors. They looks at it, I have another cornea transplant. So I done had 3 cornea transplants from the ages from 3 to about 12. From my childhood, from the way I grew up, I always was driven to never let the way I looked or way people perceive me to stop me from doing anything. Like I told you before, I was an athlete, and so me going to play basketball, I'm out there with one eye still doing the thing that I love to do, because the drive that I had not to let someone say I can't do it. I was always the person that said, if I'm not going to do it, it's going to be because Dwayne doesn't want to do it, not because someone else influenced me. And so getting into barber, I have an older brother. He's a barber as well. He's been barbering for 6 more years before me. And so he kind of got me on this, in the mind frame of, why not go work for yourself? You create your own hours. You work as you want to work. And so I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to get in this profession, Dwayne's going to want to get in this profession, not because of the brother. So when I got into it, I kind of enjoyed it and fell in love with it. And, man, it just blossomed into this wonderful career that I am in today. Like I said earlier, I didn't allow myself to let someone else tell me that I couldn't do it. So that's what kept me going. That's what drives me to keep going. I wouldn't allow someone else dictate my own situation. So that's what kept my drive going. This is my 8th year. So we've been here almost 8 years. I was barbering a year. I started a year before prior coming here. And then you got a year of schooling. And so I was about a year, I'll say about 9 years I've been barbering. It's crazy for me that I've been living with it for so long. I kind of adapted to my situation, even the surroundings, me driving a car, situations that people would need 2 eyes. I wonder all the time, like, how does it feel to look at 2 eyes? I never known. Even when I was 12 years old, I couldn't remember how it felt to look at 2 eyes. So even when this barbering, it's something that I've lived my whole life with and I've adapted to. So when I became barbering, it was like second nature to me to just keep going. And I just never looked at it as something compromising or something that was a handicap or something that I couldn't do. When I fell in love with barbering, I just was like, man, let's just go time. I'm not gonna lie to you. This question has came up often with me and my brother, and so he tells me, man, you want to retire from barbering, you're gonna be so successful or wealthy that you won't want a barber by the time you're 45 or 50. And I tell him all the time, I don't look at barbering as a tool to level me up. I look at it as me giving back to others. Me making others look wonderful. It brings me joy. So I told him, I said, man, I can see myself cutting to 65, you know. Who knows? If 65 comes, man, I might still be cutting behind of a chair. But I just like to see people's expression, people's faces, just making people feel good. I think a haircut is hygienic. It's like you taking a shower in the morning. When you when you wash everything off, it makes you feel good. And so that's the same thing with a haircut. You know, someone could have had a bad or rough day. They come in here and get a cut, and it's like, man, I'm just excited. And so that's what I look at me with cutting. I love what I do. That's what keeps me going. The one thing I would say that was very nervous to me was. Not that I couldn't cut, because I went into barbering with the mindset of I'm gonna mess up a few cuts. If I mess up a few cuts, hey, best of luck. You just won't come back to me, and that's gonna be it. But when I overcame the fear of just cutting, everything else came alongside of it. My thing was, would people, because of my eye, be like, oh man, you know, if I told them, that's one thing I didn't want to tell people is that because you didn't know I had one eye until 3-4 years coming into it. And so I didn't want to tell people, man, you're getting cut by a one-eyed barber, because they're like, oh man, and then they're shocked like, bruh, but your lines are so crispy. It's like, how do you make a crispy line, but you got one eye, until you got to know me. But if I told someone that from the start, it's like, wow, you wouldn't even want to come back to a one-eyed barber. That's like going to a dentist that got one arm, or man, it's like, bro, you need both of those to make a clean line. And so I'm a firm believer of Christ. I know he's the head of my life, and he's led me and gave me these directions, these tools, these individuals, and he's put people in place of my life to lead me different directions. One thing I will say is, as a believer of Christ, I know he has everything that I do in control. I tell myself every day I wake up, the Lord, let your will be done, not my will. Taking Dwayne out of the equation. So when we would say, look at me as having a handicap with my eye, now this is the Lord's having a handicap with his eye. This is how the Lord made me. So anything that comes my way, it has to be from him. If I'm telling him, Lord, let not my will, but let your will be done, you know, and you can lead and guide and direct me. And so what I would tell to an individual who may be going through it or may think they're not enough, and this is another thing. You are more than enough. You are what God has equipped you with. You can overcome anything if you trust and truly believe in his purpose and plan for your life. You can overcome any obstacle. I don't care if it's anger, if it's depression, if it's fear, if it's tragedies, if it's whatever it may be. If you are a firm believer of Christ, he overcomes, and he's this umbrella over anything. He's an overcomer, and he's a father, he's a friend, and so one thing I would tell an individual who may be thinking that they're not enough, find the Lord, and he'll give you those tools for you to overcome. I have just started this journey of really trusting and truly depending on him, and I've seen my life take off. Hey, no, listen. Hey, I was about to say, hey, and so this is why I'm telling you. That's one thing that I always had in mind. That's why I love your company. It's Never Basic, bro. I've never been basic ever in my life. I'm overcomer by all those things. Never Basic.